All right, this first question comes from Joseph. How would you respond to the claim consent to sex is not consent to pregnancy? Some examples: no human can use an unwilling body. The fetus has no right to occupy the parent's womb without consent. Is there an analogy that works?
Sure. Came immediately to mind. Consent to driving under the influence of alcohol is not consent to having an accident. But having the accident is a result of being under the influence of alcohol. And so that's why people who are under the influence of alcohol and have an accident are held responsible for having had an accident under the influence of alcohol. To me, this probably isn't Joseph's complaint. It's somebody else has raised the issue. This is a childish response because it's a demand that a person be allowed to enjoy the pleasure that they want to enjoy without taking responsibility for whatever consequences that are natural consequences of the behavior, not inevitable consequences, but natural consequences of the behavior, and not taking any responsibility for that. Okay? Well, I didn't intend to have an accident. I intended to drive home drunk. Why would anybody intend to have an accident? How could I possibly be held responsible for this collision with this other person? And it's sad that they died, but I never intended that. I just intended to get home, have a good time at the bar, drive home peacefully, go to bed. That was my intention. What's your complaint? Now you see how ridiculous that is. That's a childish defense. I can do whatever I want that makes me feel good as long as all I do is intend to feel good and not intend some other consequence that eventuates as a result of my actions. Too bad for them, too bad for that, but it wasn't what I intended. I didn't mean to do that. Just because a person didn't mean to do it does not mean they're not responsible for it.
I thought of another one too. Consent to eating multiple desserts every day is not consent to gaining weight.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, it actually skirts the real issue. Whether you intended to create a child or not doesn't mean that you have the right now to kill that child.
Exactly.
So we're back to this basic question: what is the unborn? If the unborn is not a human being, then no justification for abortion is necessary. Have the abortion. It doesn't matter what you intended. Just have the abortion. No discussion. But if it isn't, no justification is necessary. But if the unborn is a human being, then no justification for abortion is adequate. And I'm thinking of the standard justifications for abortion because none of those justify taking the life, willfully taking the life of an innocent human being, which is what abortion does. So again, the excuse, in a certain sense, doesn't work, but it also skirts the bigger issue that it's regardless, it doesn't mean that you have the right to kill this unborn child.
Right. Because you lose sight of what it means to not consenting to pregnancy. Because what they're really saying is they want to be able to kill their child.
That's right.
So if you could reword it a little bit, maybe rephrase to consent to sex is not consent to not killing any child that might result from that sex.
Right.
So you're not consenting to not kill your children. Do you see how that doesn't follow? I mean, it could be that you didn't want to get pregnant and you didn't intend that, as you pointed out, but that doesn't mean you can kill your child.
Mm-hmm. So it just occurred to me that there's a little end around here, though I answered, and we've discussed the liability of the response that Joseph is offering us. But why not just say, so what? I intended to have sex, but I didn't intend to get pregnant. Okay, you're right. So what? Well, then I should be able to get an abortion. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. So what does an abortion do? Ends the pregnancy. How does it end the pregnancy? It kills a fetus. What kind of fetus is it? It's a human fetus. A human fetus is a human being, right? Yeah. So what you want to say is, I did not intend to get pregnant, so therefore it's okay for me to kill this human being. That's what it cashes out to. But what I was using is the street smarts approach, and I'm just asking these little straightforward, commonsensical questions to take the spin off what's being said. So what you're actually saying, and by the way, this is, in a certain sense, all we're doing is Columbo number one, getting clarification on the claim. Since I did not intend to produce this human being growing inside of me, I can kill this human being that is growing inside of me. That's the point they're making without all the dressing on it.